Hi, I'm Pamela Peterson. I'm an enrolled agent licensed by the Department of Treasury and principal member of Accounting Freedom, where we help you and your small business with tax and accounting needs. I'm joined by Mike Sullivan, former IRS agent and IRS teaching instructor, who has worked over 10,000 cases resolving tax debt issues with people just like yourself who have, for better or for worse, found themselves in sticky situations with the IRS. We are here to help you find tax relief and some answers to uncommon IRS questions. So, welcome, Mike.
How are you doing? One of the things we do is, people do a lot of searching when they have an IRS problem. And there's a song, you look for love in all the wrong places. Well, people actually read these ads. They're clicking on sponsored links and they're reading that they can settle their tax debt. And little do they know that 90% of those people they're talking to are salespeople. They're reading for scripts. They sound professional. And, at the end of the day, I'm going to let you know you either want to be speaking to one of four people. You want to speaking to a former agent who knows what they're doing, an attorney, an enrolled agent, or a CPA. If you're not speaking to one of them, you're speaking to a salesperson. And I would get off the call and call somebody who is, I would say, the people that are being ripped off in this industry are falling for lines on sponsored links because everyone wants to settle their debt. However, remember this, only 13,000 people in the United States were able to settle their tax debt last year. That's it. And they were really prepared by people who knew what they were doing. So 40,000 were filed, so you do the math.
Yeah. Well, Mike, today's question is, can the IRS take your passport?
Yeah, boy, I tell you, I think it was about 8 years ago, there was a road resurfacing act in the United States. It was called FAST, all capital letters. It was for road resurfacing. And, as they do in DC, everyone slips in all this other legislation. Well, IRS slipped one in, and they said at the time, if you owe over $52,000, guess what? We're going to deny, suspend, or revoke your passport. Today, it's up to 62,000. But if you owe over $62,000 in tax, IRS is going to send you a 508C letter, which says, hey, guess what? You have 90 days to call IRS. And when you call, we're either with the financial statement you give us, we're either going to put you into currently non-collectible, an offer and compromise, or a payment agreement. And if you go in one of those and our computers register you as one of those, then you can go ahead and get your passport back or apply for a new one. This has surprised a lot of people. They went to fly, they got to the gate, and they found out, oh my God, there's been a restriction. So if you owe over $62,000, the IRS, you better check your passport because at some point in time, and not only is IRS going to do that, but they can start their seizure process as well. They can, by the way, IRS, Pam, considers that, as you know, serious debt. You and I were saying what serious debt, but that's
Seriously
what IRS
delinquent. Yeah.
determines serious debt.
So, Mike, when are they more likely to try to seize your passport versus seize property if you've got over $62,000 in debt?
Well, they do it all together. It's so remember, IRS has this giant computer. It's a giant collector. IRS just spits these notices out. So when they send you the CP 504, they can just as well, if they want, take your bank account. They can go ahead and garnish your wages before IRS goes ahead and certifies that debt to being serious. They have to file a federal tax lien. So if IRS has revoked your passport, they've also filed a federal tax lien. So if you have imminent travel plans, you better plan on at least 6 weeks out contacting us or whoever you want to, but we've got to start the process of securing a financial statement and actually closing your case out so you can get your passport back.
So, I guess the moral of the story is if you're not going to pay your taxes and then flee to another country, don't expect to ever come back, right?
Well, unless you leave by boat and people don't know where you are. I know a guy long ago when I was working at IRS, he said he was going to get away and I went over his house. This is an unbelievable story. I went over there and I couldn't find him. So, showing my badge all over, neighbors and all that. So, I had my suit and a briefcase. I looked like a government fed guy across the lake. He said, "Hey, who are you?" I said, "Well," I said, "my name's Mike Sullivan. I was a IRS. I'm an IRS agent. I'm looking for so and so here." He said, "That's interesting." And the guy was just sitting out there. He's all dressed up. This was, of course, on the Intercoastal in Fort Lauderdale, nice houses. He said, "You're not going to find him." He says, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Did he leave?" He said, "Yep." He left. I said, "Did he leave by boat?" Oh, no, he didn't do that. He's more clever than that. So I'm thinking to myself, what did he do? What did he do to get away? He says, nope. He says he has about a 25-foot submarine. He got in that submarine at 6:30 in the morning and he took off. He actually left. And my guess is he went to the Bahamas. So he probably got out of the U.S. territory for 3 miles, came back up, and then took off in a submarine. And I never found the guy ever again. So
Wow.
that's one way to, but for this problem you have, IRS will let you back in the country. But if you have imminent travel plans, there's ways we can try to get this passport back fast for you. But it's not so much about getting your passport back. It's a matter of closing your case. You owe a debt.
Right.
So getting your passport back is only half of it. You still got to let IRS know. Can you pay it? Can't you pay it? You got an offer, a payment agreement. So the big part of that, Pam, as you know, is we got to close the case by
Close it
one of,
all out. Yeah.
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, because if this guy owned a submarine, I'd be very curious. What do you recall the balance of his tax debt?
Well, yes, I do. He owed $520,000.
I wonder how much the submarine costed.
Well, I know what he did for a living. He was in the square grouper business. For those of you who don't know what square grouper are, you look at me with a third eye. When you live in South Florida, you see a lot of square grouper wash up on the beach. They're about 40-pound bags. They're all packed and they usually have a bunch of pot and marijuana in, and they
Ah,
wash ashore when the government's coming after. So they're called square groupers. So we tell those people we're in the fishing business. So it's a nice way to put they were drug dealers back in the day. Yes, square groupers.
well,
Yeah.
Mike, I always love hearing your stories. Very fun and interesting, and also educational, informative. So thank you so much for being here with us
Wait a
today.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I got one more to tell you about this
Oh,
guy.
let's hear it.
Don't go, don't leave me here. This guy had a very unusual pool and pool drain. The pool drain, the pool drain was probably about 2 feet by 2 feet, biggest pool drain I've ever seen, biggest. And the guy already had fleed. He didn't care. He probably had diamonds and a whole bunch of stuff. And anyway, the pool guy came over, just happened to be there when I was there. And I'd say, man, I said, I have a pool. I said, I've never seen a pool drain this big. And the guy starts laughing. I said, what are you laughing? He says, I put that pool drain in. He says, you put this pool drain in? He says, why the hell? I says, can't you see? I mean, this pool drain was this big that you don't even see these in commercial. He says, oh yeah. He says, there had a latch lid on it. I says, why is that? He says, well, the guy would go under in a scuba. He says he kept his gold Cougarans and his rubies and his diamonds.
My
He had
gosh.
everything in the bottom drain. He says nobody was going to go ahead and know that he had his assets tied up in the bottom of the pool. The guy was absolutely, he had a hide house in there where if you came in to try to find him, he had a sealed wall. You had no idea. Yeah, one day
Wow.
I'll share some more stories about other people, but the whole bottom line is we know what we're doing. At the end of the day, we've seen everything. We know how to get around certain things, and we can get you the resolution that you need. And I always may tell you a story or two.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you guys for watching. If you are facing pressure from the IRS and are seeking tax relief, please contact us today at backtaxes911.com. We can help you unburden yourself from tax debt and get you and your business back into IRS compliance. And if you happen to have a question about a personal situation or want to know more about a topic, please leave a comment for us. We may even address it in the video. Thanks so much.